Be sure to turn on your speakers. The presentation will start momentarily. Welcome to this Wyndemere Residential Health Services presentation. We will be discussing advanced directives, including information about power of attorney for healthcare, living wills, and the new POLST form. This is Beth Gregg. I'm the Director of Residential Health Services, and my contact information will be at the end of the presentation. I encourage you to reach out to me if you have any questions about the information presented. All adults should have an advance directive to help identify a surrogate decision maker and provide information about what treatments they want for an unknown medical emergency. An advance directive is a legal document that allows the patient to share his or her wishes with his or her healthcare team if they are unable to speak for themselves. While the form varies in name and information by state, generally, an advance directive allows a patient to identify the person that they would like the healthcare team to work with in making decisions about medical care. 75% of Americans do not have an advance directive, such as a living will. 82% of people say that it's important to put their wishes in writing, but only 23% of those people have actually done it. Advance directives center around the principles of your right to die and death with dignity. With an advance directive, you can express how much or how little you want done for you when you are no longer able to make these decisions. Advance directives are a way of making your voice heard when you can no longer communicate. They allow you to appoint somebody to make your healthcare decisions for you when you no longer can, and to administer or withhold treatment and procedures based on your previously stated wishes. An advance directive does not mean do not treat. This is a common misconception and not correct. Of course, if you want it to mean do not treat, then that is something that your surrogate needs to know. Proper execution of advance directive is a delicate task. A person should discuss this with loved ones and consider personal values and beliefs. Most advance directives consist of 3 easy steps. 1. Think about what you want. 2. Write it down. 3. Share with others. Living wills and other advance directives are written legal instructions regarding your preferences for medical care if you're unable to make decisions for yourself. Advance directives guide choices for doctors and caregivers if you're terminally ill, seriously injured, in a coma, in the late stages of dementia, or near the end of life. Advance directives aren't just for older adults. Unexpected end-of-life situations can happen at any age, so it's important for all adults to prepare these documents. By planning ahead, you can get the medical care you want, avoid unnecessary suffering, and relieve caregivers of decision-making burdens during moments of crisis or grief. You can also help reduce confusion or disagreement about the choices that you would want people to make on your behalf. In determining your wishes, think about your values. Consider how important it is for you to be independent and self-sufficient, and identify what circumstances might make you feel that your life is not worth living. Would you want treatment to extend your life in any situation? All situations? Would you want treatment only if a cure is possible? You should address a number of possible end-of-life decisions in your living will or advance directives. Talk to your doctor if you have questions about any of the following medical decisions. Cardiopulmonary resuscitation, also known as CPR, restarts the heart when it has stopped beating. Determine if and when you would want to be resuscitated by CPR or a device called an AED that delivers an electric shock to stimulate the heart. Mechanical ventilation, also known as a breathing tube, takes over your breathing if you're unable to breathe on your own. Consider if, when, and for how long you would want to be placed on a mechanical ventilator. Tube feeding supplies the body with nutrients and fluids by a tube in the stomach. Determine if, when and for how long you would want to be fed in this manner. Dialysis removes waste from your blood and manages fluid levels if your kidneys no longer function. Determine if, when, and for how long you would want to receive this treatment. Antibiotics or antiviral medications can be used to treat many infections. If you were near the end of life, would you want infections to be treated aggressively, or would you rather let infections run their course? Comfort care, or palliative care, includes any number of interventions that may be used to keep you comfortable and manage pain while abiding by your other treatment wishes. This may include being allowed to die at home, getting pain medications, being fed ice chips to soothe mouth dryness, and avoiding invasive tests or treatments. Organ and tissue donations for transplantation can be specified in your living will. If your organs are removed for donation, you will be kept on life-sustaining treatment temporarily until the procedure is complete. To help your healthcare agent avoid any confusion, you may want to state that you understand the need for this temporary intervention. Donating your body for scientific study also can be specified. Contact a local medical school, university, or donation program for information on how to register for a planned donation for research. Let's talk about what a power of attorney for healthcare is and what you need to know to get one completed. A durable power of attorney for healthcare is a signed witness document in which the signer designates an agent to make healthcare decisions if the signer is temporarily or permanently unable to make such decisions. The power of attorney for healthcare does not require that the signer have a terminal condition. A power of attorney for healthcare, otherwise known as a POA, determines which person you want making health decisions for you if you can't. Often it is a family member like a spouse, a son, or a daughter. Sometimes people have paid professionals as healthcare power of attorneys, or some people select friends. The important things are to be sure that the person you select knows that you picked them, that they are willing to fill that role, and that they are willing to abide by your wishes. Sometimes this means that your family is not the best choice if they are unwilling or unable to honor your wishes, and that's okay. An agent must be chosen with great care, since the agent will have power and authority to make decisions about whether health care will be provided, withheld, or withdrawn from you. Have a conversation with your POA about what treatments you want and what you don't want, and be sure to write down this information. There are places on the document where you check boxes or initial what your particular wishes are. I encourage you to write in as much as you need to in order to clearly portray what your wishes are. It is extremely important that the signer carefully discusses his or her values, wishes, and instructions with the agent before and at the time the document is signed. Such discussions may also continue after the document is signed. It is also important that the agent be willing to exercise his or her power and authority to make certain that the signer's values, wishes, and instructions are respected. You can find Power of Attorney for Healthcare forms online for free. If you want a copy of the Illinois Power of Attorney for Healthcare form, stop down to Residential Health Services on the garden level of Wyndemere. While you can have your lawyer assist you in completing the POA form, you do not need to have a lawyer involved. You do not need to have it notarized, and your physician does not need to sign the form. You do need to have witnesses sign. The witnesses cannot be family members, your POA, or Wyndemere staff. The witnesses do not need to read what your form says, but rather they are signing the acknowledgement that they know you and they witnessed you signing the document. Let's talk about living wills. A living will is a particular kind of advance directive that addresses the issue if you are not expected to recover from a particular medical situation. It is a signed witness document that instructs an attending physician to withhold or withdraw medical intervention from its signer if he or she is in a terminal condition and is unable to make decisions about medical treatment. The wording that is typically on a living will is this: If at any time I should have an incurable and irreversible injury, disease, or illness judged to be a terminal condition by my attending physician, and it has been determined that my death is imminent, except for death-delaying procedures, I direct that I be permitted to die naturally, and that procedures that prolong the dying process be withdrawn or withheld. Living will forms can be found for free online, or you can pick one up from Residential Health, your lawyer, or your physician's office. For a living will, you do not need a lawyer to sign, you do not need it to be notarized, and your physician does not need to sign it. You do need witnesses. Finally, let's talk about the POLST form. A physician orders for life-sustaining treatment, or POLST form, helps individuals communicate their treatment decisions. It is designed to record patients' treatment wishes so that emergency personnel know what treatments the patients want in the event of a medical emergency. The POLST form is not for everyone. A POLST form is appropriate for patients with serious illnesses or frailty for whom their healthcare professionals would not be surprised if they died within a year. For these patients, their health status indicates the need for standing medical orders for emergent or future medical care. Also, these are the patients at the greatest risk of having a medical emergency, but who may not want to have everything possible done to attempt to save their life. For healthy patients, an advance directive could be a more appropriate tool for making future end-of-life care wishes known to loved ones. Some people question what the difference between a POLST and a DNR, or Do Not Resuscitate form, is. A POLST provides additional information that helps emergency personnel determine what treatments they should provide to a patient. Rather than automatically going to the hospital, a POLST may help keep the patient comfortable where they're located, if that is the treatment level they want. Like a Do Not Resuscitate order, or DNR, a POLST form lets the emergency team know whether or not the patient wants CPR. DNR orders only apply when a person does not have a pulse, is not breathing, and is unresponsive. However, in most medical emergencies, a person does have a pulse, is breathing, or is responsive. That's where a POLST is different. A POLST form provides more information to medical emergency personnel than DNR by indicating the following choices. Maybe the patient still wants full treatment, meaning that they want to go to the hospital and that all treatment options should be considered, including the use of a breathing machine. Maybe the patient wants limited interventions, meaning that they want basic medical treatments but wish to avoid the intensive care unit. Maybe the patient just wants comfort measures, meaning that they do not wish to go to the hospital, but they want to be made comfortable wherever they are living. The additional section about desired medical treatments that a POLST form provides is incredibly important. Research has shown that when somebody completes a DNR, healthcare professionals assume the patient wants less treatment. Research looking at POLST forms shows that that is not the case. Approximately half of patients who complete a POLST form indicating that they do not want CPR also show that they want full treatment or limited interventions or a higher treatment level. POLST forms are completed by your healthcare provider after discussing what is important to you, your diagnosis, what is likely to happen in the future, and what your treatment options are. A doctor, sometimes a physician's assistant or a nurse practitioner, must sign the POLST form for it to be valid. It should always be your choice to have a POLST form. You should never be forced to have a POLST form. You do not need a lawyer to sign, and you do not need it to be notarized. You do need witness signatures. A POLST form is for seriously ill or frail people at any age. Advance directives are for anybody 18 years and older. The POLST form gives specific orders for current treatment. Advance directives give general instructions for future treatment. POLST forms can be signed by the decision maker, but the advance directive is the one that names the medical decision maker. A POLST form cannot be used to identify who you want to have as the power of attorney for healthcare. The POLST form complements an advance directive. It does not replace it. You should also have a power of attorney for healthcare if you have a POLST. Review your advance directives with your healthcare agent to be sure that you have filled out the forms correctly and that you have all the necessary signatures. When you have completed your documents, you need to do the following things. Keep the originals in a safe but easily accessible place. Give a copy to your doctor. Medicare pays for a visit specifically for advance directive discussion, so I recommend that you schedule an appointment for this review. Give a copy to your power of attorney for healthcare and one to your family. Give a copy to the front desk at Wyndemere. Keep a record who has your advance directives. Talk to family members and other important people in your life about your advance directives and your healthcare wishes. By having these conversations now, you help ensure that your family members clearly understand your wishes. Having a clear understanding of your preferences can help your family members avoid conflict and feelings of guilt. Carry a wallet-sized card that indicates that you have advance directives, identifies your healthcare agent, and states where a copy of your directives can be found. Be sure to keep a copy of this with you when you are traveling. You can change your directives at any time. If you want to make changes, you must create a new form, distribute new copies, and destroy all old copies. You should discuss changes with your primary care doctor and make sure a new directive replaces an old directive in your medical file. New directives must also be added to medical charts in hospitals and here at Wyndemere. Also, talk to your power of attorney for healthcare about changes you have made. Consider reviewing your directives and creating new ones in the following situations. If you have a new diagnosis, a diagnosis of a disease that is terminal or that significantly alters your life may lead you to make changes in your living will or power of attorney. Discuss with your doctor the kind of treatment and care decisions that might be made during the expected course of the disease. Maybe for a change of marital status. When you marry, divorce, become separated, or are widowed, you may need to select a new health care agent. Also review your power of attorney for healthcare and your living will or other advance directives about every 10 years. Over time, your thoughts about end-of-life care may change. Review your directives from time to time to be sure they reflect your current values and wishes. Stop on into Residential Health to pick up any of the forms listed. We can provide you a POLST form, a living will, or an Illinois power of attorney for healthcare, or pick one up of each. I hope this presentation helped to give you information to make an educated decision regarding your advance directives. If you have further questions, I encourage you to make an appointment to talk with me. I can help you decide which type of advance directive is right for you. Invite your family to be part of the conversation. You can reach me by phone at 630-681-4037 and by email at Grigg, Grigg, Beth, BETH, at WyndemereLCS.com. Best wishes and congratulations for looking ahead to plan the future you want.